Kim, Ray Mancini, the gloves are off, and now we go in to the boom boom room. Ray, I know this is a particular pet peeve of yours. When a mouthpiece comes flying out after a guy gets drilled by a right hand, the referees suddenly call a timeout and they wash it off. So in essence, we have a timeout. Ray, there are no timeouts in boxing.
No, I've had this discussion with fighters in my generation. I've talked with Ray Leonard about it. I even brought up to Roberto Duran. I've asked these guys, what do you think about guys spinning the mouthpiece out? Because when we were fighting, when the mouthpiece came out, the referee would pick it up, let the fight continue, bring it to the corner. It happens in the corner. That's it. There was no stopping it, timeout, and putting the mouthpiece back in during the round. Nowadays, guys, when they're tired, they turn and spit it out. There's different tricks they do. And I'll tell you a perfect example. To me, it was a big case of who won the fight and who didn't. Was the first Jose Luis Castillo
fight, yeah.
Diego Corrales. Diego Corrales spit it out on purpose. Twice. Stopped it. And Tony Weeks stopped it, pulled it over. Now, the first time, you say, okay, if it happens the second time, you let it go. The third, it was very obvious what he was doing. And I'm a firm believer, if they didn't stop it, call timeout, and give Diego Corrales the extra minutes, and he was a great fighter, don't get me wrong, he would not finish that round.
Ray, that is the single greatest prize fight I've ever been ringside for. But there's no doubt. I thought that tainted the victory. But he gamed the system. Now, in defense of Tony Weeks, he's following the regulations of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. By rule, he was following the letter of the law. But I thought the spirit of the rule was completely broken at that point. With that being said, Ray, going back to your issue, well, it's a safety issue. That's what they say.
They say it's not true.
You know what's also dangerous? Putting down your hands, not ducking. And you know what? The referee doesn't say, hey, you may want to duck a little bit. Or every time you don't put your hands up, the referee doesn't call timeout and raise your elbows up. That's my point. It almost takes away the advantage. If I hit you, Ray, if I could, and I knocked out your mouthpiece and you get a timeout, you're taking away my advantage that I earned naturally. There's something very unfair about that.
A perfect example, Steve. And also, if a guy's hurt and he clutches you and he grabs you and holds on, we allow that at first, but if it's continuous and it's excessive, they break you up and they tell you, they warn you, we'll take a point away. Or they do take a point away. So the point is, the guy spitting the mouthpiece out, there's no consequences thus far. I don't see him taking a point away. And again, if you do it again, we'll take a point. If you do it again, we'll disqualify you. I mean, I think Diego Corrales was an example, could have been disqualified. I understand that Tony's following the rules, but at some point, as a referee, you could start controlling, saying, hey, he spit it out on purpose, you gotta let the fight continue. This is not an issue about following the rules. It's an issue about controlling the fight. And Tony was in control. And you're right, I'm not blaming Tony for following the rule, but I'm blaming him for using his judgment and controlling the fight. He allowed it to go on. If I'm hurt, look, you give it to any fighter. When you're hurt, just turn and spit your mouthpiece out. Because they're going to stop and give you 10 seconds.
Ray, going with this theme, and again, newsflash, boxing is kind of dangerous, but you guys know the risk. Nowadays, a guy gets cut in the middle of a ring from a clean punch, not from a head clash, which is different.
Right.
From a clean punch, I've literally seen referees call timeout in the middle of the ring, then you go to the ringside position and they look at it for a couple of minutes. Again, why are we taking away the advantage of the guy that throws a clean punch to damage the opponent? Is boxing, I hate to use the term, but is it becoming a bit too sanitized and soft?
Perfect example. You just perfect word, sanitize. Absolutely. I said, well, why don't you just put dress on the guys next time? I mean, because that's what we're basically doing. It's the sissification of boxing. Because we're taking away, just what you said, the advantage of the guy who's on the offensive. We're taking away his advantage. That's the whole idea of boxing. We're the only sport that we penalize guys for being offensive. In every other sport, they make it more offensive. You said earlier, passing in football, you can't hand check the guys. No more in basketball. I mean, baseball, they've juiced it. They've shortened the parks. We've talked about it, Steve. Everything's about offensive in every other major sports. Boxing is the one sport when a guy has an offensive advantage, they stop it and give the opponent an advantage. No, mouthpiece comes out. Maybe once
you deal with it. You deal with it.
Exactly. Every other time in history, we've dealt with it. If it gets knocked out, that's part of the deal. learn to keep it in your mouth. Learn how to clinch down. If it comes out, they kick it over, give it to your corner. Round continues. If it comes out once and you do stop it, if it happens a second time, you allow it to continue. I mean, there's got to be at some point, you can't let the fighters monopolize the system.
Ray, did you ever get your mouthpiece knocked out during a fight?
Never.
Okay, so obviously you were much better at it than today's fighters. You got cut, I remember, during one of your fights against Livingston Bramble, maybe both of them. Did they ever have, I don't recall this, but did they ever stop the action to have you look at the ringside physician in the middle of the fight?
Yeah, the second fight, Mills Lane, in the 6th round, I was cut from the 1st round on, but Mills, I was bleeding pretty excessive. Mills stopped it, brought me over to the doctor in the 6th round. Doctor said, okay, let me continue. It was the 15th round. There was a minute left, and Mills stopped it and come over and asked him, Mills, you let me go this far? No, Mills, come on. You let me go this far. I thought but Mills was a great referee, and he let fighters control the pace of the fight. He let the fighters fight. So I'll never knock Mills for that. But it's just like Mills. I've already gone 14 rounds with it. Let me, it was a minute left. And he let it continue. The doctor said, yeah, it's fine. And Mills did a wonderful job and let it continue. But that was it. You know what I mean? So I not any other fight. I had some fights where I was bleeding, but the referees allowed the action to continue. As long as I'm throwing punches and able to fight back, they allowed it to continue. You put it in the hands of the doctors, ringside physicians. That's what they're there for, to look at you in the corner and allow you to come out for the next round or not. If your corner is doing a good job of stopping it, and which my guy did, Paul Percival, was the best. He saved a lot of my fights by being a great cut man. Then you allow it to continue, and they did. And I think everyone benefited. The fans benefited. The networks benefited. I benefited. They let me finish. Let me do my job. So I think the referees now are becoming too much involved of the fight, because what they say, the best. When the referee's done a great job, so you never hear of them or you don't see them, right? I think now they're becoming too much involved with the fight. Too many of these guys are getting their name out there, and hey, look, human nature. We want to hear our names out there. We like the recognition. Maybe that's not such a good idea as a boxing referee.
That's it for this edition of Gloves Off with Ray Boom Boom Mancini. And folks, if there's a particular story or a question you want to ask us, please tweet us at UCN Live with the hashtag Gloves Off, and we'll do your best to accommodate you. So on behalf of Ray Boom Boom Mancini, this is Steve Kim saying till the next round, goodbye everybody.